Hello, my name is Kris from the Myth of Modern Medicine, and today we're going to talk a little bit about sweep picking. A lot of you have already checked out some sweep picking. You've probably seen a few videos talking about the 5-string sweep picking pattern. It's also the first pattern that I learned. For example, if you wanted to do an A minor sweep starting on the A string through the E string, it might look something like this. And I practiced that for a long time. I got pretty quick at it, but then I abandoned it. I didn't really find any way to use it in my music since I play pop punk. However, I did find that the sweep picking technique, the technique being that you're landing on either the higher strings or the lower strings depending on which direction you're going, I found that very helpful in other riffs in my music. When you're sweep picking, what you want to do, instead of picking individual strings and ending up in the air, is you want to land on the next string with your pick. So let's say if I'm playing a note on the A string, and then right afterwards I'm playing a note on the D string, I've already landed on the D string with my pick, so I'm ready to pick the next note sooner than if I played them individually and ended up in the air with my pick. So it ends up looking something like this. If you're playing, let's say, 4 notes over those particular 4 strings. What I'm going to show you today are a few different examples of playing arpeggios over just 3 different strings, and that's something that I have used every now and then in my music. For example, let's say you had a song that had a B minor chord being played by the rest of your band, and you wanted to play something pretty quick over it that complemented that chord. In this case, let's say a B minor 7 arpeggio with a 9th on it. You might start with the D note here on the G string. You do a hammer on to the F sharp. Now your pick has already landed on the B string. You play the A note. You've already landed on the E string, where the next note is that you're going to play, the B. You do a hammer on possibly to the, let's see, what was I going to do? Oh, okay. Instead of playing the B, go ahead and play the 9 already. Then you do a hammer on to the D, a pull off, and then you do the whole thing backwards. So slowly it would be. So I did a couple sweeps downwards, and then I did 2 sweeps upwards, and I started all over again. And that would sound pretty cool over a B minor chord. You could also play B minor 7 a little bit higher, starting on the F sharp, going to the A, playing the B, the D, doing a hammer onto the F sharp, a pull off again. Kind of like that. Or you could go even higher and play an A, hammer onto the B, play a D, an F sharp, hammer onto the A, and then playing that whole thing backwards. And you can get pretty quick at it. It's not something that I use a lot in my music, but I do use the sweep picking pattern where I move from one string to the next by landing on it very often. So if that's something that you want to use in your music, if you want to get a little bit quicker with your right hand, or if you just want to have riffs that sound really cool and are pretty fast, this is something that I would encourage you to practice. Just start off by landing on maybe the next string. Let's say you take a 4-string set of D, G, B, and E, and start practicing just landing on the next string, and then in the opposite direction. And then start adding notes in your left hand, and before you know it, you'll probably come up with some pretty cool riffs. Again, my name is Kris from the Myth of Modern Medicine. Check us out on our MySpace page, Reverb Nation, our website, themythofmodernmedicine.com, and like us on Facebook. Thanks for listening.